Hey there, comic book fans. I'm back from the comic shop again this week with 7 new comics. There was supposed to be an 8th, but it's the what I didn't get was the Lock and Key 10th anniversary edition, I think it is. It's like a sort of a facsimile, but it's got extras in it of the very first issue of Lock and Key. And it turns out that the distributor shipped it to them last week, but it wasn't supposed to go out till this week, so that Roy put them in a special spot, and then somebody else in the shop put them away somewhere. And they haven't figured out where that somewhere is just yet, because the person who put them away wasn't there. So I'm going to have to wait till next week to get my Lock and Key. But meanwhile, here's my 2 top of the printer covers my museum covers that I was looking at. We got a Mr. Miracle special. What year was it? Steve Rude cover. 1987. I didn't even remember this existed. I was just looking on my shelf at my Mr. Miracles. Sure enough, this was there. There's Darkseid hiding out there. I'm gonna have to. I didn't even look through it as it was out all. I'm gonna check this one out again. Being a Steve Rude fan, I wonder if he wrote it. And of course, I was in the mood for a Dan Clowes 8-ball. So I picked this cover because it had all those fun characters on the cover. Don't even know if they're anyone or just one-off characters who appeared here, but there's the 2 I had on top of my printer all week. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, we've got Time Before Time, issue number 25. Let's see, there's usually a different artist for each story arc, and it's been a good series. Rory McConville and Declan Shalvey are the writers. Jeffo is the artist. Geoffo. Chris O'Halloran, the colorist. Hassan Atsmane Elahu is the letterer. No idea if I'm saying his name correctly. But it's been a good series. Some nice artwork in this one. I've liked it from beginning to now. There hasn't really been a bum issue or anything like that. Time travel story. Gangsters run time travel, and fun stuff. And then here, 1 Radiant Black, 2 Radiant Blacks. Oh, I only pre-ordered 1, but Roy said, there's the second. He's like, I didn't know if to pull one of these for you because the second one has got 5 different page ending or something like that. So I was like, you know what? What the heck? I'll read both endings. Why not? So once again, this has been the Catalyst War, Part 1. I think for the last 12 issues or so, the 2 of them, there are 2 main characters have been sharing the Radiant Black armor, I guess you'd call it. And I think there comes a point, maybe this point, where only one of them can wear the armor going forward. So we'll have to see, but. Got two copies of Radiant Black. And then we've got Noctare Nemesis Special. And Scott Snyder, Liam Sharp. Oh, that's right, it's a special, so it's not drawn by... I can't even remember the regular artist's name all of a sudden. But this actually... continued. The last issue of Noctare is continued into this special. I guess since they wanted... all of a sudden I can't remember the Noctare artist's name. I guess they wanted him to have done all those issues in a row or something, but it's like... you have to put this story in, too, because this is the end of the story that started in the regular comic, or at least continued, but I just find that weird. I wonder how many people who buy Noctare are going to miss out on the special. I don't know. But I got it, so... I'm good. Then we get, Frank Frazetta's Tales of Science Fantasy. There's his shark cover. His shark in butt cover, I should call it. First issue was good. We'll see how this second issue is. Who's doing it? Script, Aaron Gregory. Art, Sadat Oizjan. Colors, Omi Ramalante Jr. Letters, Jacob Bascale. And I thought when they said this was going to be an anthology, it was going to be a bunch of stories, but it's 1 story per issue. So it was, I guess, I mean, the first issue was that. Oh, there's the. It's got a blue cast. It's got a purple cast. Completely different. But, I liked the first issue. We'll go with the second. I think it's quarterly also, so there's 4 of them a year. Then I'd like another anthology, Zeno. This is by Oni Press. I enjoyed the first issue. I think it's 5 or 6 issues. I forget which. Finale, written by Alex Segura. Xander Cannon. Free Hugs, David Lapham. Maria Lapham, illustrated by David Lapham. Testimonial, Hagay Palevsky, illustrated by Carson Thorne. B&B, written and illustrated by Alyssa Sala. The People, written by Francois Vigenot, illustrated by Artyom Trakhanov. All right. Don't know all those names, but enjoyed the first issue. I'm sure I'll enjoy this one too. It's got some nice artwork in it. So, good cover too. Oh, there's all their names down at the bottom of the cover. There you go. What's our last one? Don't Spit in the Wind, number 4 of 4. Oh, look, there's 2 people in those. This one's mostly been about the vibe for me. The story itself isn't particularly interesting, but I like the artwork. I like the vibe of this sci-fi world they're on. They're trying to, well, it's Earth, I think, which is a garbage world now. Literally, it's a garbage dump, and they're down there trying to clean up the garbage dump. But there's some garbage people living down there who don't appreciate it, and I've just enjoyed the vibe of this whole thing. That's not a word I use very often, but I've been listening to other people use that quite a bit lately, and I think it applies here for me. I just like kind of the vibe of this whole comic. I think I've heard movie people use that vibe. I like the vibe of the movie, whatever that means. But I like the vibe of this comic, whatever that means. So there you go. Don't Spit in the Wind, number 4. No 10th anniversary edition of Lock and Key. Let me show you a little bit about my work back here. What do we got here? We're coming up on 200. We got 196. I was just inking 199 today. But there's I think this is the one. No, maybe it's the next one. I have another. I think the one after this also has a face looking in that direction in the bottom half. It's strange how these themes come up, but there you go. A couple of faces, one on some sort of emblem. On top of this, is he a hat for her? I don't know. Lots of textures in the background. We got those circle-like shapes. We got the cloud stuff going across. We got the Kirby crackle going on. A wood texture. All sorts of fun stuff going on in this one. Colors and textures. That's what and this is one of my Gatsby ones I've been working on. This I drew. There's 199 back there. This I drew on paper and then colored it in Illustrator. You can tell by the Illustrator is very good at patterns. So I made this sort of pattern for the background of windows. I have to get some more of this good thick paper, but it was out of stock for a while that I print on. All right, there you go. Some artwork, some comic books, and you guys have a good week out there.